Hi, welcome. Just gonna make sure that I have focus mode on. If you want to, you can start your cameras. The cameras are not recorded and they are not streamed to Facebook. So welcome. Just gonna make sure we have audio on Facebook. There has been so many kind of glitches with Zoom since their last update. So I just want to make sure we have. Yes. Yeah, we have audio. Perfect. Then we can kick off this. So welcome everyone. And I am going to just make sure we have everything here so we can kick off. So this is our first workshop for 2000. So we do not see, let's see. We can change the I have focus mode on and it should be streaming with just that. So yeah, now we have focus mode on. Perfect. This is our first workshop for 2023. Love your big join button reminder in my email. Yeah. So it's a big red that I created in Canva and it's really, really big. So no one can miss to click on it. And this time we actually have the registration before people join because we have some problem with spam. So it's bots that comes in and just post links in the comment section. It's it takes too long to sit and remove people. So that is why we put up so people need to just enter an email address. And it's kind of good because so you can actually track who was live and who might have missed and want the replay. So welcome. I'm going to make sure that I do have Facebook as well, audios on Facebook. Thank you so much, Cindy. That was so nice of you to let me know. So I can actually see two screens here. So this is our first workshop for this year. I'm actually really excited because this new year with kind of a new energy. Don't you feel that? It's like a kind of a new energy. And I just want to let you know if the audio or my picture cuts off or I get thrown out, I will rejoin. It's just going to take me a minute because I am now traveling. And right now I'm in south of Sicily. And the house that I rented in is a really, really old house. And the problem is the electricity here. So I got electricity in this apartment, but a couple of times it cuts off in the other two apartments. And then the Wi-Fi goes down and you need to just start and it opens up again. So just if you see me get cut off, I will join again. Okay, so just stay on the call, stay on the Zoom, don't log out because I will be back. Okay. So yes, as Inda says, yes, and it's a kind of a new energy because 2022 it was a lot of ups and downs, right, for everyone, and it was a lot of ups and downs for a lot of people. A lot of people struggle, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. But I want to focus on the future. So I really don't want to focus on the past, but we need to see as, and I said it in the end of 2022, that you need to see it as a learning period, right? It might have been that you have struggled. It might have been that you feel like you have done everything and nothing works, whatever. But see it as a kind of an opportunity to learn from it. Now we have a new year and now it's time to set new goals. And I think 2023 will be the year where a lot of people are going to thrive. But in order to thrive, we need to look at where can we simplify? Because we spend a lot of energy on complicated things, a lot of energy on a massive amount of things that we don't need to do, right? And all this, the entire workshop is really kind of scale with simplicity. Simplify in order to multiply, okay? So I hope you're ready to start building out your launch event. And I want to know where you're watching from. I would love to know both on Facebook, because I can see Facebook, and on Zoom and on LinkedIn, where you're watching from. I would love to know where you're watching from, and I want to see the energy, because we all know that it's mindset before mechanics, right? So if we want to create this kind of a big breakthrough, we need to believe that it's possible for us. We got to show up and make it happen, right? And I want you to show up live. And why do I want you to show up live? Anyone can tell me, right? Anyone can tell me, why do you want to show up live? Well, you take in information better, right? You take in information better, you are more likely to take action, right? And it shows commitment. But if you can't show up live, because I do understand everyone can't show up live, especially this is an 8-day workshop, right? Then make sure you watch the replays, because every day builds on each other. Every day builds on each other, right? It's good energy as well. Yes, indeed. It's good energy as well, right? We have Canada and Newfoundland, and you got, I'm just gonna make, I can't really see Facebook comments. I can see that. Got a speech going on. Yeah, and it feels different, right? 2023 playback. I don't have any playback. Anyone else kind of hear the audio? No, I just have me. I'm just on my Zoom, so I don't have anything else. Okay, might be something on. And I can say, like, I have had a couple of problems with Zoom since the last update, or some actually big problems, and I cut off, the video had disappeared, and all kinds of things. It might be that I live in a bunker right now as well. Who knows? That might be the audio problem. But it's so I want to first congratulate you for register for this kind of powerful free workshop. And you're in for a treat, because as you know, for everyone that have joined any of my workshop, this is workshop with no kind of fluff, right? It's actionable things that you can actually take action on, and you can do something with. I have people that have joined my free workshop, and they have gone out and got a really good result out of what they got from a free workshop. There is no fluff. It's just not information. It's actually things that you can take action on, right? So we're going to remove all the complicated tech. We're going to remove all the stress, all the complexity, and we are going to remove all the stories. We're going to really put in and focus on simplicity, okay? To simplify our business, our life, so we can spend more time with our family, do the things that we actually want to do, right? That we actually want to spend time on. So my name is Angela, for who don't know me. I'm a virtual event sales expert, and I am actually going to tell you, since we talk about no fluff, that what I see online that I feel is kind of absolutely kind of fascinating sometimes is that we see all these kind of trends, right? It's overloaded with trends. Right now, it's massive amount of how you should do, scale, whatever. And you see this kind of things that sell high ticket without doing sales calls, sell high ticket in DMs, run programs and scale your businesses on evergreen, never do a live launch again. You never need to show up with your face or speak to any kind of people. Don't give away anything for free. That is sometimes. Webinars is that, right? Challenges doesn't convert. All those kind of things. And then you go, that is taught online, and you go to their profile, and then you look at what are they doing to grow their business? A workshop, a challenge, right? I saw it actually just yesterday, and it's someone that sells some kind of template to sell high ticket in DMs without doing sales calls. How did he sell that strategy? With a 3-day workshop, right? So you can't get away without doing the work. And there is a foundation, and there is add-ons, right? And if you want to build a successful business, you have to be willing to lay out the foundation of being of service, showing up and spending time with your people, and actually having a heart of wanting to make an impact, right? And do you think it's important that we're willing to do the work to actually reach our goals? Do you think it's important? Or do you believe that, no, it doesn't matter? We don't need to do the work. We can do any kind of things, right? So we need to look at what is the actual foundation of being of service, because you are a service provider, right? You're a service provider. So when I talk a lot about simplicity, I'm just going to touch a little bit why I think now it's really important to focus on simplicity. And if you haven't noticed, but I guess you have noticed, there has been kind of a mass exodus of established businesses from the online space this year. A lot of businesses has been struggling We have been in a contracting economy for almost a year. I think it's a year actually. And the online space got a little more complex and a little more difficult. And with that, I mean, the algorithm had changed. Yeah, you're not able to kind of reach as many people on a daily basis as before, because all the regulations have changed around the ability to retarget and all those kind of things, which means a lot of business owners have been struggling and they feel really stuck and really overwhelmed. And it's like we do all the right things, but we actually don't see any kind of outcome from all the things that we're doing. I don't know if you can kind of relate to that, but a lot of people can, right? And I think this is a kind of a continual struggle in the online space, because there is so much, or there is such an abundance of opportunity online. I mean, there's billions of dollars in sales transaction every single day, right? However, sometimes that overabundance of opportunity and that overabundance of tactics and strategies as how you can create these kind of results can actually kind of spiral our business out of control, because our energy gets so diluted in all different directions, right? That we can't really kind of create leverage from it. And leverage is where you do a little bit of effort where that gives a lot of impact. And in order to create scale in a business, you need momentum and you need leverage. And when you put momentum and leverage together, that is what's going to allow the scaling process to begin, right? But it's kind of, the why I want to talk about simplicity is kind of when we have this overabundance of opportunities, all these kind of strategies, everything that is out there, and we are kind of diluted with our energy everywhere. We try everything because we end up in a kind of a mode that, what am I doing? Nothing is working. And we do a little bit here, and we are all over the place. It's kind of we are tripping over ourselves, right? We're almost tripping over ourselves. We don't know how to focus. We don't know what to take action on. We don't know how to navigate, right? And it's not kind of our fault. We can't kind of, it's not kind of our fault. It's just that there is so much opportunity and so many different directions to go that sometimes it's really hard to know which one to pay attention to, which one am I going to focus on, right? And the shiny object syndrome is massive. And we see it kind of all these big promises as well, like generate 300 leads per day, have 100K month in just 5 days, all those kind of things that scale in 30 days, 0 to 10K in 2 days, whatever. You can see it everywhere. Work 10 hours a week without having an audience, and you have this massive outcome. All these kind of quick fixes, they're everywhere, right? They're everywhere, and that is the shiny object syndrome, right? So we kind of start chasing that because we are sold this idea and this dream and this wish of this kind of a magic solution and evergreen sales by people that don't do evergreen sales to close those sales. Let's just be honest, right? And when there are so many kind of opportunities, we kind of stumble on ourselves and we get in our own way that is going to prevent us from leverage and have that momentum in order to start the scaling process, right? That is why it's so important now to kind of take it to the bottom and kind of see that, okay, how can I simplify this? Because I'm all over the place. How can I simplify? Okay. So what I'm going to show you this week is our Speak and Converge launch method. It's the simplest strategy on the planet. And since it's not easy to run a business, even if a lot of people say it's so easy, it's not easy, but we can make it simple, right? We can make it simple. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you and share the exact step to make sure you have pen and paper. There is a workbook you can download if you want to have the workbook, but if you don't have the workbook, make sure you do have pen and paper, because you're not going to remember all this. This is a massive amount of information during these days, so make sure you do have pen and paper ready, okay? We are live every day at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 6 p.m. Central European Time. And we are live from Monday to actually Monday next week, okay? And if you're really passionate about becoming a six-figure entrepreneur. Who wants to earn six figures this year? Who wants to earn six figures this year? Might be that you earn six figures, but maybe you want to earn seven figures then. Okay, but who wants to earn six figures? That at the end of December you have 100K have come in, a minimum in your account. Okay, let's say minimum in your account, right? So we have Debbie Pragati. I'm not sure that I pronounced your name right. I'm sorry. Cindy. Yeah. So I mean, we have this goal, and if you kind of want to, if you're really passionate about becoming a six-figure entrepreneur, seven-figure entrepreneur, you want to be willing to commit to 1 hour for the next 8 days to build the skills that needs to be in place in order to accomplish that. Okay. And today we're going to talk about positioning and designing an offer that converts on demands. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the framework of a six-figure launch. Wednesday, we're going to talk about how to design the days in that launch. And then on Thursday, we're going to talk about sales. All right, we're going to talk about sales, because when you have presented whatever you're going to present during your launch, you are going to do a pivot into a pitch, right? And then on Friday, we're going to talk about how to build the leverage lead generation system, because there will be no one to sell to if we don't do lead generation, right? There will be no people. Saturday, we host a live Q&A session for everyone that wants to join. Sunday, it's all about how to claim your category and build an audience that makes sense. And Monday, we're going to talk about mindset, because we all know there will be no business with a wrong mindset. And it's really important to have a sales mindset, right? But it's also important to have a mindset to reach your goals, because otherwise you're going to stand in your own way. You will never reach there, right? So I know that you have probably been in a lot of workshops and challenges and things like that. If you have, give me a yes, I would love to know. And what I'm going to show you this week that we are going to spend together is how much value a workshop actually can bring. And it actually can bring a lot of simple, actionable steps and a transformation for your audience, and how it can actually help you build your brand online. Okay, because it's really easy to have this shiny object syndrome, if we're going to call it. Like, you show up, you dabble over here a little bit, you dabble over here a little bit, and you don't follow up, you don't go out and execute, and then you just move on to the next thing. I think we all can kind of relate to that. And I just want to say to you, don't be that person, because that person will never, ever create leverage and momentum, right? Because what happens when we always start over? We go backwards. We go backwards before we go forwards. So make sure that you block your calendar and show up. If you can't show up, make sure you do watch the replays, okay? So I want you to write this down. I commit 1 hour per day, the next 8 days, or it's going to be 5 days that the workshop, but then it's a Q&A session and a couple of bonus sessions. They're going to dedicate 1 hour each day this week for this workshop, because this is going to change and it's going to simplify your entire life, okay? And I'm going to give you kind of a little bit, kind of a quick backstory. So my name is Angela, for you who don't know me. And as I said, I'm a virtual event sales expert. And I help my clients turn the leads from cold to sold in days instead of months. So what we do is that we create like, know, and trust, you all heard that, into days instead of spending months creating that online, right? We also build category of one brands so we can attract an audience that actually makes sense. And I created the Speak and Convert method that I teach my clients and that I use myself. And that is for people like us that might not have a huge audience, right? We might not have a huge network, and we kind of show up and we have this passion and we want to close clients on repeat in the most simplest way possible. We don't want to use any kind of complicated tech, and we don't want to use any kind of ads, because that is not something that I teach, okay? So I started out in fitness and in health, and my first business was in fitness and in health. And I was a truck driver, and my passion was fitness. And I saw these amazing people have their fantastic online businesses in health and wellness. And I wanted that lifestyle. That is why I started my business. I'm just going to be honest. I started my business because I wanted to travel, drink pina colada, lay on the beach, making money back end. Okay. Without doing any kind of work. And I was sold that dream and that idea and that wish. Okay. And when I started out, I had no network, no experience. I have no money to fall back on. I actually didn't know anything, actually, about running any kind of business. So I was sold an app, that the app was the solution to everything, okay? And I created an app and I pre-launched it. I ran ads, I had a sales funnels, I had quizzes, everything. And I did okay. I did okay, okay? But it was really complicated and it cost me a lot of money. And I relaunched and relaunched and relaunched over and over again, running ads everywhere. I had my energy diluted in 1,000 different ways. I was totally exhausted. I spent massive amount of money on ad and tech. And then I started building more programs. I did more launches with all these new programs. And not only were my launches not converting the way that I wanted, but they were expensive and they were complicated. And they were almost costing me more money than I was making. And I was really overwhelmed. And I have spent so much money, so much time, so much energy. And it was kind of not the business that I wanted. There was no kind of connection. Something wasn't right. Something was obviously missing, right? And it wasn't the way that I wanted to run my business. And I really felt like I did everything, but nothing worked. That is how I felt. I did everything that I could possibly get my hands on, right? And I don't know if you have ever felt like that, like you do everything, but it just doesn't work. Something is missing, right? So I knew for sure that I needed to do something else because it didn't work. It was like a barrier between me and my audience, all these kind of things. So I actually came across a challenge and I joined the challenge. And I can't remember what kind of challenge it was, but I just thought to myself, wow, can it really be this simple? Can I just kind of invite people, speak to them, and sell to them, right? Can it really be that simple? So what did I do? Well, I kind of run my own challenge on my own, of course, because I thought that I don't need any help because I had invested in so much. And I really felt like I can do this on my own. I know everything. So I joined these 3 things and then I can do it. And yeah, it didn't really kind of work out the first time. And in order to scale, so I'm going to touch this as well. In order to scale, you need to have a system in place to sell one to many, that you sell your offer to many people at the same time. That is one part of scaling, right? Serve many people at the same time, sell to many people at the same time, or have a team that works, that do the same thing, but in multiple, right? So you need to have something in place to sell to many people at the same time. And that was what my sales funnels was doing before. And now I replaced it and I started to run a challenge. But I had been in a lot of challenges before, and they was all full of kind of overwhelming, unstructured, fluffy stuff, whatever. And I felt there needs to kind of be a different kind of way of running them. And I wanted to kind of focus on serving, on leading people through a transformation. I was in fitness and in health, and I was focused on women over 40 that wanted to lose weight. And I really want to show them what I actually could do for them, right? So what I did was that I ran this first challenge, and it was called Change the Way You See Food. And it worked, but it didn't work really well because I didn't know anything about copywriting. I don't think I even knew the word copywriting, so I was going to be honest. So what I did was that I changed the name to Lose Weight Without Giving Up the Cupcake. And that was my breaking point, because that challenge converted really, really well. I had a massive amount of people joining. And that was the moment when I removed all the complicated tech. I removed my app, my sales funnels, my ads, everything that was over there costing me a lot of money, a lot of energy. And I started to run one challenge. It was a 5-day challenge every month. And it was the same challenge over and over again. And I complemented that challenge with a webinar. That is how I built my first fitness business. And I was still living in the truck, working full time. So I did my launches in the evening when I was parked for the evening. That is when I run my launches. And then I start building my business pretty quickly, because now I could be there kind of with the energy like we are right now. We have live streaming, so we need to use it. It's the best way, this human connection, right? This human connection, be completely present in the moment with your audience. Don't have any kind of wall with tech between you and your audience, right? You are really kind of like we are now. We are really in the moment, at this moment together, right? We can almost feel like we are in the same room, right? And we have that opportunity, and that is what's changed everything. And it was like having you can have a chat, and we were speaking, we built a connection, and I was really present. And that was what made my challenges convert really well, because I used a lot of slides in the beginning that I removed. I run webinars with like 150 slides that I removed, and I focused on this. This is what I focused on in all the events that I did. Okay. So, and I wanted to really feel, and I want you to write this down. So I wanted people to leave my challenges, even if it was a free challenge. I wanted them to leave saying my life was changed in a positive way because of Angela. And that is how I still run my workshops on challenges and webinars. And that is kind of the opposite what a lot of people say, right? That is the opposite, because I want people leave feeling, wow, this was the best workshop that I have ever participated in. I got more out of this 5-day free workshop than I got out of my last paid program. That is the feeling that I want people to leave with. It's the feeling of creating an experience for your audience, right? So when sorry, my throat, last week, I don't know if you were with me in Business Bites last week, but I haven't spoken since then because I have this kind of thing in my throat. So I have been quiet since last week, Wednesday. I haven't spoken to one person, except my clients. So I had a client call, but otherwise I've been totally quiet. And when I started out doing workshop and when I built my business, I didn't have a team. I didn't have a sales team. I didn't have any kind of appointment setting. And I actually didn't have a registration page because I used Facebook back then. Now Facebook groups are a little bit kind of that. But I used when they entered the Facebook group, that is when I collected all the information, because I didn't have a landing page in the beginning. And I went live, I used my phone, and that is how I built my business. I didn't have any kind of other tech. And it was that simple. And how to set up the framework is tomorrow, okay? Because today it's all about the offer. So I hope you're with me. That is kind of I wanted to kind of do a little on the background because we have a lot of new people that are joining. And that is why I so strongly believe that running events to scale a business is the most simplest way on the planet. Because you need to have a system in place to sell your offer to many people at the same time in order to scale a business, right? And this is the absolutely simplest way. It can't get more simple. And it's not only that it's going to help you sell your offer, it's also going to help you save time. It's going to help you build your brand online. It's going to help you position yourself as an expert. And we're going to talk more about that later in this week, but I want you to understand that an event in itself, it's a converting event. So it's built to sell, and no question about it, because you can't help anyone if you don't sell. I hope we are really clear about that. That is a mindset shift everybody needs to do. You cannot help anyone if you don't sell your offer. End, period, okay? You can only help so much with the free stuff, right? But if you can't help them with their struggles, fear, frustration, everything if you don't sell to them. So it's built to sell, but it's so much more than that, right? You can use it for so much more, and we're going to talk all about it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, okay? Because today we're going to dial in a little deeper with the offer, because why a lot of challenges, if you are on Zoom, you can, if you want to join on camera, welcome, because we are only streaming and recorded speaker view. So you're welcome if you want to start your camera and kind of be with me. So the reason why a lot of challenges and webinars, whatever, doesn't convert is that we don't understand how to build it sales driven, as I call it. I call it to build it sales driven. And we kind of don't build a natural bridge into the offer, because we just pick some kind of trendy topic and we built out a workshop from that trendy topic. We don't build it from our offer. So when you present the challenge, the workshop, the webinar, the next natural step is not our offer. It's go out and execute on whatever you taught them. That is why they don't buy, right? Because it all starts with the offer. Okay, so I want you to write that down in your workbook or in the comment section. It all starts with the offer. No one buys a crappy offer, okay? Just let's be honest. No one buys a crappy offer. No marketing in the world will sell you an offer that no one wants to buy. No challenge in the world will convert if you have an offer that no one wants to buy. It all starts with the offer, and the event should build on selling that offer. That is why the offer is really important when it comes to crafting together a challenge, a workshop, a webinar that converts really well, okay? And if you look at the saturation online, there is a massive amount of workshops, webinars, whatever, challenges, free trainings that you can sign up for. And during the pandemic, we did nothing else than sign up for free stuff, because we were locked in at home. Maybe not where I'm from. So I'm from Sweden. I live in Italy, but I was in Sweden when the pandemic broke out and we weren't locked down, but almost the entire world was, right? So everyone was inside, sitting in front of the Zoom call, signing up for workshops. Now we are kind of tired of that. So we are more picky on what events we sign up for and join. Right? I think you are. I am. Because during the pandemic, I signed up for everything. Now I don't. Okay. Now I really pick the one. And they will sign up for people that have a really specific, like an outcome, a specific thing that they really want to learn about. So you can't just kind of pick a topic, throw it out over some days and hope it will convert, because you're going to end up exhausted. Okay. So you need to understand the fundamentals in creating an event that actually converts. And I have done, or we have done in my team, all the trial and errors for you. We have done over 300 live events, long and short, built mastery. This is not something that I have done 20 times and then I say that I can do this. This is 4 years of, I don't want to know what you want to call it, perfection and skill building. That is what we have done. During 4 years, I have run over 300 events. We have created massive mastery around this. And I still invest to learn more things, to study new launches, way of doing launches, the new things that is happening. I try to improve them and how I teach them every single day. Do you think even if we know a lot that it's important to always improve? Do you think that it's important to always improve? And one coach said to me that I have that people that think they know everything have the least money in the bank. I don't know if that is true, but I think it's really, really important that we never, ever stop learning, but never, ever get stuck in learning, but never, ever stop learning and improve in new ways and higher and better ways to serve our audience, right? Because everything that I learn, that I try, and I feel like, wow, this is working way better, I then teach, right? So that is important to never stop learning, right? So we're going to jump in the offer. So make sure you do have the pen and paper, okay? So you do have the pen and paper. So first of all, who have an offer? Can you tell me who have an offer already created? So and is it a one-to-one or is it a group offer, right? We help service providers scale the offer. So we create group offers where you serve one-to-many without losing that high glove touch, because what I feel a lot of group programs is built to do, unfortunately, is to serve a lot of people, make a lot of money with a less effort of time. And if it's something that I want to really kind of bring to the table, is that your number one focus should always be serving your clients. The second focus should be bring on more clients, right? And a lot of group programs have a really low kind of touch and low kind of, there is no one to reach. I actually signed up for a program that was a Q&A session every week. I joined the Q&A session and I was the only one there because the coach didn't show up, right? Those kind of things. And unfortunately, that is what has happened. And you see people spend massive amount of hours every week on things that avoid them to speak to people. And I believe as a coach, and I don't see myself as a coach, but as a coach, a service provider, strategic, whatever you feel like that you are there to help people through a transformation, get access to solutions, help people, right? So it doesn't kind of add up. At the same time, we don't want to deal with people, but we want to sell coaching. We want people to buy our offer, but I don't want to spend so much time. So when we build offer that have a high level of, it doesn't mean that it needs to be a massive amount. I'm not talking about one-to-one or whatever, but have a high level of support in our programs, okay? So I want to ask you, and you can think, like write it down, write down 4 things or 3 things, whatever you can think about. Why do people invest in an offer, a service, a program? Why do we invest? Why do you invest? Right? What can be the reason? The one reason is, of course, maybe to learn a skill. Let's say I want to be a sales coach, or I want to be an appointment setter. That is a skill. I need to learn sales, okay? So that could be it. I want to learn a skill. Support, knowledge that I'm lacking from Debbie, right? Shortcut our learning curve. So instead of spending 1 year like I did on my own, you kind of get the shortcut from someone that have already done all the trial and errors for us, right? And I always said that wealth loves speed, and there is kind of sorry. But I always say that wealth loves speed, and I always look at ways of shorten my learning curve, because I'm done with it should take kind of myself a year to figure something out. It doesn't make any kind of sense. I believe that time is our biggest kind of thing that you can't get it back. You can always earn more money. You can never get time back, right? We can never get time back, and that is important. I want you to have that in mind. Why do people? Because you need to know. If you don't know why people invest, then you're going to have a hard time selling, right? Because why would someone buy if you don't have an idea why they're going to buy? Why should they buy my offer, right? But probably a lot of you have already bought the program. Then you can ask yourself, okay, why did I invest? Because that is something it's important to know, right? So today's homework is going to be, and that I want you to think about why people, when you think about why do people invest, why should they invest in you? And you're not going to answer that now, but we're going to come back to that. But I want you to have that with you now when we go through the offer in itself. Okay, why should they invest in you? Because when creating an offer, you have 4 big pitfalls. Number 1 big pitfall is the pricing. Price and positioning on the market. We're going to come back to how not to end up there, but write that down. Price and positioning yourself on the market. Number 2, the offer in itself is too complex and too complicated. And with that, I mean that we craft this kind of a huge program that absolutely no one can get through. It's just overwhelmed with massive amount of information, and it has a really complicated structure, too much material, Okay. Number 3, lack of clarity. And that is when an offer have no kind of real structure, no clear really, what is the outcome of this? If I buy this, what is the outcome? I don't get it. That kind of thing. And number 4, we built in a vacuum. We built an offer without doing any kind of market research, without doing any kind of validation, and then we hope for someone that is going to buy, right? Those are the 4 biggest pitfalls. Pricing, too complex and complicated, lack of clarity, building in a vacuum. So how do we avoid this? That is what we're going to look at. And the number 1 thing is the pricing. And the pricing ends up usually be really off when we don't understand pricing versus volume. We kind of don't understand how much traffic it actually requires in order to make, let's say, 5,000, because that a lot of people can relate to that. So let's say we want to make 5,000 per month, okay? And we don't kind of look at, okay, how much traffic do I actually need in order to get to 5K, okay? Recurring every month. I'm not talking about a 5K offer. I'm talking about you need to look at the recurring, what is coming in every month from that client. So let's say you have a 5K offer that runs over 5 months because it's easy. Then you have 1,000 recurring every month, right? It's easy to look at it that way. Not a lot of people do, but that is the fact. I always talk about monthly pricing. And I'm not talking about that you need membership. I just need you to understand that if your offer is 5 months and you charge 5,000, you have a recurring revenue of 1,000 per month. I hope you agree with me on that one. But let's say when we don't kind of really understand this, we just craft together something that is lower ticket, right? Let's say a 97 course. And in order to make 5,000 with a 97 offer, we need 52 clients, I think, 51 or 52 clients, right? And if it's a course and a course is something they work on their own, there is no support or anything. It's just a 97 course. It's like an evergreen, whatever, no support. It's just like a self-paced course. You need 52 new clients every single month. If you have a conversion rate of, that is a normal conversion rate in the beginning, 3%, 4% maybe, you're going to need about 1,500, 600 leads every single month, right? And that is a lot of leads. And if you look at if you need 52 clients every month in order to hit 5,000, that is over 600 clients in 1 year to hit recurring revenue of 5,000. That is a lot of leads, okay? You will need to run ads. And we don't look at this in the beginning, because in the beginning, it's way easier to start. You don't need to craft together a 10K offer, but it's way easier to start in the little more high end. So you don't need such a huge audience, because it's not easier to sell 97 than 1,997. It's take as much effort to do this, okay? So you need to decide yourself. Are you going to be here in the middle or over here? Low ticket, medium ticket, high ticket, where are you going to start? And it's just like you are going to start, but I just want you to understand, in the lower ticket market, you need a huge audience. That is the fact. You need a lot of traffic. End of the day, no questions asked, okay? Because that is what you're gonna need, okay? And we kind of try at least to start at 1,000. We kind of put ourselves in a little of the medium, not the high ticket, but a little bit of a medium. So we don't need such a huge, massive amount of audience to start kind of seeing money coming back, okay? And so that is when it comes to pricing. And what is important when it comes to pricing as well is you need to stand behind your pricing. And you need to position yourself in a profitable niche. I'm not going to go into niching down, but you need to understand that if no one is making money doing what you want to do, or spending money in the area that you want to sell, don't go down there, right? Start out in a profitable niche where people are already making a lot of money and spending a lot of money. This is part of doing market research. It might be that you have this wonderful idea that is totally unique. You think it's no one has ever done this. I can promise you thousands of people have done it and failed, right? So you want to look at the market and see, okay, are people spending money here? And are they making money here? And don't be afraid of competition. The more people that are making money there, probably you can do as well, okay? So that is important when it comes to pricing. And also when it comes to pricing, you need to understand that people pay more, and we're going to come back to this, for an expert than a generalist, right? If I want to say, let's say I want to have a sales funnels build, do I go to a sales funnel builder that do only that, that is an expert of doing that? Or do I go to a coach that have sales funnels as a part of their 6-month program? Do I pay less for that? Probably. Is that person the expert of sales funnels? Probably not. I would have way better results over here, paying a little bit more, but it would shortcut my way to success to have that funnel, right? And people that buy high ticket offers buy based on value, not on pricing. But you need to decide, because that is going to be your audience, right? You can't take a Prada bag and put it on Walmart and vice versa, because it's not the same people that buy, right? So this is something you kind of need to do. And if you look online, anyone, you just need a phone to put up a bio, claim to be an expert, and sell and do exactly what you do. You just need a phone. Copy and paste of all these kind of things is massive, right? It's massive. So that is when we come into the second part. So first of all, it's pricing. So when we know pricing versus volume, we decide where do we want to position ourselves. You can make it with the low ticket offers. I'm not saying that, but it's going to require way more traffic. And you need to be prepared for that. And not a lot of people are, because they don't understand that. So when they start doing all the work, they just get overwhelmed and they don't see the result of what they are doing, right? The second thing is when we look at complicated kind of offer structure where there is no specific outcome, is when we come down to your solution, okay? So I want you to write this down. You need to have a superior solution. In order to charge high ticket, you need to have a superior solution and you need to close the gap in your market. Write it down. In order to sell high ticket, you need to have a superior solution and find the gap. And not a lot of people talk about the gap, right? And since anyone can go online, you can just copy and paste in any kind of way. You can see it everywhere. You can take a lot of programs, no different, because there is nothing behind it. It's just up there. You want to ask yourself, how can you serve your audience in a superior way? What can you provide that will give your clients a superior result? Okay? Focus on a core outcome. Be the expert. People pay way more for expert, okay? And if you own something on the market, if you decide, I have decided we are expert at crafting together, converting events, okay? When people then think about converting events, we want to be in the top of mind. They're going to think like, yeah, I heard that, right? So you want to own something. You want to focus. You want to focus on a core thing for your offer, okay? Don't try to help with everything, because it's not going to work, okay? It's just going to be a program that is too kind of comprehensive with a really complicated offer structure, no really core outcome, and that is not going to sell, okay? You need to focus and you need to build mastery around whatever that is that you're going to do, okay? So how can you now help them from A to B in a superior way? What do you provide that gives them the superior result? What is the benefits from working with you? And how is this different? Okay. And then we kind of come to more kind of your story. And this is going to be your kind of homework for tomorrow, because I want you to really think about what is the conviction behind your offer. Because when we built offers, when I have built my entire business based on my own convictions, right? That I believe so strongly that selling your offer to many people at the same time in an event is a superior way, because it comes from my own story, right? I strongly believe it. I don't think anyone that sits and listens to me anywhere think that I'm not convinced that that is the case, right? That no, I don't think she actually does believe this. Because remember, you are going to sell your offer. If you don't believe, no one else will believe, right? So the way that you work with your audience, the way that you serve your audience, the way that you build your offer needs to be tied back to your own conviction. Why do you so strongly believe that your way of helping people from A to B is superior to anything that is out there? Because there is a massive amount of programs out there, right? Massive amount of programs. So almost looks the same, all the programs, right? So how is this different? And I want this to be your homework. What is the conviction behind your offer? What do you stand for? Why do you want to help people go from A to B with this superior solution? Okay? And if I ask you what you stand for, what is the conviction behind your offer, your business? It should be easy for me to understand. It should be super clear for you as well. If you don't know why you help people, you're going to have a hard time, right? If you just, no, I don't know. If you would ask me, okay, why do you want to help me build events? Well, I'm not really sure, but I mean, I want to help people sell more, right? It sounds like a something that is recorded, right? But if I speak from my own conviction, my own beliefs, why I believe doing events is a superior way of selling your offer to many people at the same time, right? Then it will convert compared to a copy and paste. I hope you understand the difference here when I talk about your convictions. And when we look at the gap in your market space, you can just ask yourself, what would you have wanted to know 10 years ago? That you would have someone to knock you on the shoulder and told you. And for me, it was that I don't need a web page. I don't need a sales funnels. I don't need an app, especially an app. I don't need to run ads. I don't need all this complicated tech. I need to learn how to speak to my audience. That is where I should have started. And I wish someone would have knocked me on the shoulder and said to you, you know, there is a better way to do this, a simpler way, a more aligned way, not so expensive way. And I wish that someone would have knocked me on the shoulder and told me. That is what my business is based on. I want to help people discover it 10 years earlier, right? It was like 4.5 years ago that I wish someone would have knocked me. And I want my audience to get this 4.5 years earlier, right? So you can ask yourself that. What is missing out there? Why are your audience, your people not getting the result that they want? Something must be missing. And usually it's kind of easy to find the gap. And then you go in with your own conviction and your own beliefs, and you close that gap. That is how you have a superior solution. No one can take that away from you. It's impossible to copy. Totally, they can copy any kind of strategy. They can never copy your convictions. It's totally impossible, right? And if you look at the online space, and when you look at people do investments, who do they invest in? Who would they choose? Someone that just have a copy and paste whatever, or someone that shows up and actually speak about why this is superior, how this helps people, why this removes their struggles, why this kind of removes their fears or whatever, why this gives this result, and share their stories, their own beliefs behind what they are doing. You're more likely to invest in a person like that, right? You want to think kind of a little bit deeper when it comes to kind of the offer, because no one cares about platforms. No one cares about color, perfect slide videos, whatever. They care about you taking them from where they are to where they want to go, and that you are the right person to do that. That is what people care about, because they're going to buy from you because you are you, not because you have a fancy slide deck. That is not why people buy. right? And you wouldn't want to think about when it comes to offer, you can just ask yourself, why did you invest in the last program you bought? What is that they have the fancy slide deck? Probably not, right? Why did you buy the last high ticket offers? Because we talk about high ticket offers here. Why did you invest in that offer? That is how you can bring something to the market that is going to be yours. Your unique strategy. You can call it whatever. I call it the speak and convert method, right? That is what I have built. You have something, right? That's going to be yours. When you have that kind of, sorry. You have that kind of understanding of your own conviction and bring that into your offer, how you're going to help people from A to B. You want to think about how can you simplify the steps from A to B, because you don't want to end up with 52 like, what do you call it, modules, right? You don't want to have a too comprehensive program. So you want to think about what is the actual big steps that my people need to do to get from A to B? What is the big kind of blocks they need to go through? Because it's way better to add later along the way than have too much in the beginning. So always have that in mind. How can I kind of simplify the way I take them from A to B? Everything that you think that you're going to put in, you ask yourself, do they need this to go from A to B? If the answer is not really, you remove it because you can always add it. Okay. And the last thing we're going to kind of talk about is what I call the kind of hybrid module. So the problem with a lot of people is that they spend months in creating an offer and then they go out on the market. No one said yes to this offer. They don't do any kind of market research. They spend 6 months creating an offer. They go to market and they hope someone will buy. Okay. As soon as you have an idea, you execute on that idea and you validate through that execution, right? So what you are going to do, as soon as you are clear with your own conviction, your superior way of helping your audience from A to B, and you are clear on the steps they need to take from A to B, okay? It might be 5 steps. You go out and launch, okay? Because you don't want to spend time crafting something that no one said yes to. Then you're going to get stuck in creating, and there will be no money in the bank. And 1 year from now, when you are done creating, you go to market and it doesn't convert. You have now spent 12 months on something that no one wants to buy. Because there's a huge difference between what people want to buy and what you know they need. Because what you know they need is going to be inside your program, right? But people aren't going to buy what they need. We all know it. We don't. We buy what we want. We don't care what people say that we need. We buy what we want and we buy what we think we need, right? So we need to sell what people want. And when we do no market research, we end up usually with an offer that do not convert, okay? And because in order to craft an offer that sells, that converts on demand, you have to understand your dream client. I'm not talking about you knowing what perfume they have or whatever, but you need to understand that you are selling your offer to their reality. They are over here. You are not over here. You are over here, right? You have already done all the entire journey. You are already in goal. Okay, you already have the result that you want. You're over here. You're now taking them from there to there. But they are still here, which means your reality and their reality is not the same. So you need to understand their reality, their needs. And this is the number one thing why an offer doesn't convert. It doesn't meet the needs of the audience where they are today. And I want you to write this down. Fears, frustrations, problems, and goals. Right? There is a problem. They have a problem, no question about it. But from that problem creates a lot of frustrations and a lot of fears. This is what you need to know. You need to know where they want to go. In my case, it's obvious because my audience wants to have a six-figure business, right? It's not complicated. It might be they want to lose 10 kilos, whatever. The goal is usually a little more easier to understand, but we don't do any kind of market research when it comes to frustrations and fears. Because why do people actually buy what they buy? Something they move away from. And the problem in my case, in my audience, they are not getting enough clients. It's a problem. But the frustrations is not kind of not getting any clients. It's like they are doing a lot of things, but nothing happening. They are doing this and this and this, and they're just frustrated because they're posting everywhere and they're spending massive amount of time and they are doing this and this and this. That is frustrations, right? Fear is that, oh my God, I'm running an event. What if no one shows up? What if it doesn't convert? What if no one's opened my emails? What if something techy happens? That is fear. That is not a problem. That is fear, right? So you want to think about what your audience, what kind of frustrations do they have? What kind of fears do they have? What kind of goals do they have? And start writing this down. That is the type of market research that you can do, right? And it's actually really easy to do. And then all of a sudden we go a step in our own way and we say, oh, I don't know how to do market research. I cannot post in group. Nobody answers me. And all this kind of thing. There are a massive amount of way of doing research, market research, without almost talk to one person, right? But running events is also going to get you the market research, right? And that is why tomorrow is important, because when you build your event that is going to sell your new offer, that we are going to go out now and validate, that is going to help us validate it. That is when you have a two-way communication during days, and you are going to collect audience, and you're going to collect information, because now you can all of a sudden ask questions, right? I could ask you, what is your biggest fear, right? Boom, 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 boom. I get a lot of words. I just type them down. Boom, market research. What is the biggest struggles when it comes to creating a landing page? I could ask that, right? I get instant feedback all the time. That is, you can use that as a market research, right? Which means that is why I say, as soon as you have an idea that I want to help these people going from here to here, because I so strongly believe that I am the person because there must be a conviction behind it, right? Why we want to help these people go from A to B. What is the thing here that is your solution that you're going to sell? As soon as you have that idea, you take that idea and you go out and do market research. Are people spending money? Are people making money? If the answer is no, don't go out there, go do something else, okay? But if the answer is yes, we start go looking at who is this person? What is the struggles? What is the fears? What is the frustrations? What is the goal that they want? What is the reality? What is the kind of reality that they live in, right? Then we take our solution, we craft it down into steps. How are you going to take them from A to B? Let's say they need to do this 5 big steps. That is all you need. And then you ask yourself the price, okay? Pricing, I know it's hard. Pricing is really hard, and I can't go too deep in it because it's a huge kind of thing, right? So you put a price on it. So let's say $997. That's all you need to go out and validate. Don't make it more complicated than it is. You don't need to craft your offer in months, okay? You don't need anything else. Because if you have a conviction behind how you help people from A to B, you have the entire thing. But you also need to do market research, because people will only buy something that they want to buy, right? And it might be that you have a conviction that you want to help whatever, but no one is making money doing that. Don't go down that road, because the only one that is going to struggle is you. And if you are not making any money, yeah, you can't help anyone. That is totally the fact, right? You can't help anyone if you can't put food on your own table. You can do that later along the way. So when you start making money, you can start helping in that niche that it's not profitable. That could be it, like a pro bono, whatever you want to do, right? You can do that later along the way. You can just put it on hold and say to yourself, okay, these people don't buy. It's not a problem that is big enough for people to spend any kind of money on. So I'm not going to go down that hole, because you're going to spend massive amount of time, frustrations and whatever, and it's not going to convert. Okay. So how can we make them comfortable enough to tell us their needs when doing market research? So I can't go into the entire market research. There's so many ways of doing market research. Okay. And there is massive amount of doing market research. And no, if you can take them on a call, yes, but there's a lot of other ways to do market research, but it needs to be done. Because if you don't know what they actually want, it's really hard. Would you buy something that is not something you want to buy? No, you won't. If you don't buy anything that you don't want to buy, why should your audience buy something that they don't want to buy? Makes no sense, right? If you don't invest ever, why should they invest in you? If you don't put time in doing things, why should people put time in you? It doesn't add up, right? So you need to kind of take the time and actually go out and do market research. That doesn't mean you need to have 15, 20 calls, because it might be kind of hard. It might be one call. It might be, but there's a lot of ways. But it might be one call that you do. And from that call, you gather information. Then you go out and do research in groups. Then you go out and do research also on Google. There's a lot of ways to do market research to don't end up in a niche that doesn't make any money. But when I talk about an offer that converts on demand, needs to be something people want to buy, needs to close the gap in the industry, whatever that gap is, it's usually easy to find. It needs to have a superior solution. And that's how you close the gap in the superior solution should be tied back to your own conviction. And that is your homework for tomorrow. And now we speak about high ticket offers. I could throw together a 97 course without any kind of conviction, whatever. I could do a copy and paste. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about high ticket offers that builds a transformation, a group program. Okay. This is what we talk about. So don't get confused in low ticket crap that is out there. I'm talking about coaching programs, consulting programs that help you people go from A to B with your solution. Okay. So the homework tomorrow is to answer the question, what is your conviction behind the way that you help people? What do you stand for? Why should I invest in you? There needs to be something there. And a copy and paste, I'm going to call them copy and paste. They're going to answer, let's say we are, I don't know, transformational coach for women, whatever. And a copy and paste that have no conviction behind this would say, oh, I want to empower women. That is not enough in 2023, okay? That might have worked some years ago. That is not enough anymore. Too saturated. I want you to answer, I want to empower women because, and then there is a strong conviction behind why you are going to do why do you do what you do? This is going to be your conversion story. That story, that phrase is going to be why people invest in you. Okay. And that is why I kind of shared my story, why I do what I do. And why that story is really important, because I could have showed up here and say like, oh, events is the way because look at this and this and this. But now you know why I think this and this and this, and it's important. And if you look at the saturation of the market, it's not enough anymore to just craft together something. There needs to be something more, right? Otherwise, you're going to always end up where there is a lot of saturation down here. And we want to become category of one. We want to end up over here because it's less noisy up here. Less competition, less noisy. right? And if you want to be up here instead of where everybody looks the same, and you want to be kind of different, you want to be something that sig when everybody else is sagging, you want to be that person, number one, right? You need to look at your offer, okay? Because the market is way too saturated with, I mean, look at my market. I think it's one of the most saturated. I think wellness, weight loss is the most saturated market that is out there. But if you look at mine, it's also a lot of, you can almost see everyone help. I help coaches go from 0 to 10K in 90 days. How many coaches have that line? It says nothing, right? No conviction, nothing, whatever. How are you going to help me? Oh, I'm not going to tell you. I have a secret strategy. You know, it's massive, and you want to elevate from that, right? And in 2023, it's not going to be enough. Because now, the more what is going to happen in the market, that all this, oh, let's call them copy and paste. I don't know a better word. They're going to disappear, right? They're going to kind of fall out. They're going to run out of business because of cash flow somehow, right? You don't want to be among here. You want to elevate from that. That is why I talk about this so much, because not a lot of people do, because they just look like, okay, go out and follow someone, an expert, do what they do, start making money. Okay? Is that enough today? I wouldn't invest in a person like that, right? When I invest, I want to know the story. Why? What happened here? I want to know you. What do I get? Why should I invest in you? I bought a lot of programs. So why is your program different from all these 2,000 programs out there? Because your audience have invested in something similar, right? So they're going to ask, the biggest question is going to be, how is this different? And it's going to be different because of you. The way you take them, your superior solution that you so strongly believe in is superior to whatever is out on the market. This is what you're going to build your entire brand around. We're going to come back. This is what's going to build your event around, right? So I hope this was valuable. I know there was a lot of stuff. This was actually more, but I don't have any notes. So I'm a freestyler. And I always say that I need to have some notes, but now I have no notes. So I just kind of go with the flow a little bit. That is why I went over time as well. I shouldn't do that, but it's easy to do that when you kind of, yeah, you just go with it. But I want you to write down for tomorrow, and please share in the Facebook group. Okay, share in the Facebook group and share your conviction. And I want you to, if I ask you, why do you do what you do? I want to know. And it can't just be, I want to help people lose weight. It's not enough. It's not enough. It says nothing. No one is going to kind of buy from that. It's going to be, I want to help people lose weight because. And then there is something behind it. And please share if you want to. Obviously, it's not necessary. You don't need to share your entire story. But that story is going to be used during your event as well, right? So it's important to kind of know that story. So thank you so much for today. And remember, same time tomorrow, we are live on Zoom and we're streaming to the Facebook group. If you have signed up, you're also going to get access to a replay page. So you can watch all the replays on the same page. You're going to have it emailed to you, a replay page. So everything is going to be on that replay page. And thank you so much for showing up live. I'm so sorry for my for my throat, but at least I could talk the entire time. That is fantastic. So thank you so much. And tomorrow we're going to talk all about the framework to now sell any kind of offer in launch event. So thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Thank you. Bye.